show from your local news leader.
Well, it's been a winter of ups and downs, but it is cold outside today.
And we're continuing to learn more about conducting heat today, and Nadia Mason is here, as always, for our Wise Guys Wednesday. And Nadia, tell us how it all works. We're continuing a couple of days now, so tell us how this whole thing goes down.
Right, so we're continuing to talk about the cold weather, and especially today it's supposed to snow and be extra cold. So last week we talked about what makes us cold. We talked about how contact with cold air removes heat from our bodies, and also how our bodies radiate heat, and the wind blows that away and also produces wind chill, which makes us colder. Right. So this week we're going to talk about how to stay warm and insulated against the removal of heat from our bodies. Okay.
All right. Love it.
Okay. So how do we stay warm? So the key is that we have to keep heat from flowing away. So we have to have insulation between us and the wind and the cold air. So to test different sorts of insulating materials, I have here what I call the Grand Ice Cube Challenge. Okay. So these are just food coloring on ice, and they're on heat packs. You can see that these things are hot. Let's see.
Ooh, that is warm.
You can see that it's warm because you can see this.
The color.
If I hold that up, you can see the color change, maybe wrong way. Yeah, you can see that. You can see the color change on there. Yeah. So this is the warm heat pack, just a hand warmer to make the thing more effective. And here we have just something warm with an ice cube on top, and I put all these ice cubes on at the same time, and you can see that over here the ice is basically melted. That's removing heat from the heat pad, just like air removes heat from our bodies. Here I put tin foil on it, and you can see that the foil also makes the ice cube melt pretty effectively. It just distributes the heat, so you don't want to wear metal if you're trying to stay warm, as you know. Okay, so over here I have just a thin cloth, like a t-shirt material, and you can see that this ice cube is a little bigger than the plain ice cube, but still pretty melted, right? Even though it's a thin cloth, and you just know from experience that's not going to protect you very well from the heat. Okay, then moving one over, I have a cute little knitted piece that my daughter actually knit for me last night for the purposes of this experiment. And you can see that this ice cube is very effectively insulated from the heat.
Oh yeah.
Right? So this one's still very effectively insulated from the heat. And the reason that this one stays the most insulated is that you can see the difference.
Lost one.
You can see the difference between the between this material and the others is that it's thicker.
Yep.
Right. And so what happens is this has air pockets in it, and air, despite the fact we think of air as making us cold when it blows onto us, is a very good insulator. And so when air isn't moving, there's very few molecules in there, and it doesn't conduct heat very well. So if you can make things that have a lot of air pockets that are still air, that's not moving, then you can be really well insulated from hot or cold.
Oh.
And that's just what you do in a thermos, for example. Okay, right? So a thermos, the reason that it's so thick on the outside and thin in the inside is that in between the outside and inside is a pocket of air. You know, in this case with the vacuum with no molecules at all, but it's a very good insulator. And it's the same reason that things like styrofoam are good insulators, because you can actually see they have a lot of pockets of air in them. And so if you make a very thick knit type thing, then it has a lot of air in it, right? The thicker the better, and the more trapped air the better, and it effectively keeps you very warm and insulated.
All right.
And then I promised I'd do the marshmallow challenge over here. And I'm sorry to say that the marshmallow isn't doing very well as it's better for eating. It's better for eating, exactly. You'd think it was big and fluffy, but really it's kind of sticky. Right? All that sugar must make it conduct or something.
Now, is that a heating pad under this one?
There's heating pads under all of these. Yeah, it's still better than the plain wood, but it's not great. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that marshmallow. Okay, let's leave that. The other thing I want to mention is that, you know, although this thick material is really good at preventing heat from conducting, from coming directly and touching us because of these air pockets, we know that, you know, you don't want to wear just that out in the cold because the wind will blow through it and make you cold because of wind chill factor. And so we can actually test that over here. Over here I have a candle, and I have a vortex wind maker, which is one of my favorite things. It's like blowing smoke rings, but through the thing. Can I puff it at you?
Yes,
okay,
please
ready?
do. Oh,
okay.
My wind, my hair.
So you can see very effectively that this thing, by hitting it, produces a pretty strong wind. So that's our wind effect. And here I have a candle, and I can light the candle. So this is my wind chill over here, and the candle is our little bit of body heat. And you can see that obviously if I hit this thing, it blows out the candle. Because, okay, so now let me light it, and let me try to protect the candle using this beautiful little knit thing, right? So this is a thick thing that you can see is the best thing at insulating us from cold. But when I put it in front of the wind,
Oh, fancy.
okay, so I know I set these all up. No, in the lab they did it. So, and I put this in front of the candle and then try to blow out the candle. It doesn't protect at all from the wind, right? The air just goes right through. So even though it has air pockets for still air that keep you insulated, the wind blows through, and that's why you'd still feel cold if you were just wearing that, right? So, yeah, so
There's more?
there's more. So now we need to have something else. So let's try it one last time. And wait, there's more. It's like an infomercial for insulation, right? Okay, the last thing is, if I instead have a thin piece of plastic, right, just a plastic bag, basically it is much thinner, and this is actually much, if I put this on the heat pad, you'd have seen that this wouldn't be very effective at protecting me from the heat from conduction. But if I now try to blow the candle out through this,
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
very protective. I'm hitting
and
it hard.
it's trying to blow out. But
It's vibrating, but it can't. The wind doesn't go through at all. And so this is why we dress in layers.
I was going to say, should we wear plastic bags?
But you do kind of, right? So when you think of your coat, the outer layer of your coat is something that's plasticky and very wind protective.
Here it's more of like a synthetic material rather
That's
than
right.
just, I guess, a cotton.
That's right. Or even something that's a dense knit cotton as opposed to a thick one. So you want to have the outer layer that's something plasticky and wind resistant, then the inner layer is something thick. And actually, if you think of it at home, when you make your bed, you have a thick comforter, and then you always put the bedspread on top because that prevents the air from coming through. And so, so this is how you keep yourself warm from wind chill with something that's wind resistant, and from just conduction with something that's thick. If you can knit your own, even better.
Man, I wish you were my professor when I was
Right?
in college. This is fun.
Learn something new every time you're here.
All right, I'm going to torture Jessica, so hopefully you leave that. I'm going to torture Jessica. With
And if
that-
you, wait, well, I'm sorry, you didn't get this either. Ready? Here you go. Ready? We're going to do this with some smoke and show the special effects I love. This is my favorite part of it, actually.
All right, thank you so much, Nadia. We'll be
Okay,
right
thank
back with more of The Morning Show.